In this video, I'm gonna show you how to get it out each and every time, guaranteed. Now, I've got 4 different tools that I actually like to use, but if you'll hang around to the end, I'm gonna show you the tool that I use to make sure you get it out no matter what. And also at the end, I'm gonna show you the right way to install the new one. If you haven't done it yet, please subscribe, ring the bell, and share this with anybody you know that may be changing a tub drain anytime soon. So first of all, I have the extractor, I have the expander, I have the dumbbell, and I've got the forks. Now, these are the 4 tools that I use. The one that guarantees it, that one will come in a little bit later. But all 4 of these tools get the tub drain out probably about 90% of the time. So I'm gonna jump in here first and show you how we do each tool to remove it. And I'm gonna start with the fork because it is the easiest. So first of all, for the forked end, as you see, you got 2 different kinds. You got a couple of openings here that can reach in to grab maybe one of the cross members. And then here, you've got a thing that actually lines up on the cross member to grab all 4. Now, the drain that we have in here, it won't do it because it's got the round female threads inside where the lift and turn screws into. So here we would actually use the forks and we'd put them in. On this, we can't even go across it, caddy corner. So we just get on one of the crosses right above it, grab it and twist with it. Now, this one in here is not in here very tight. This is our trainer here at the shop. But literally, you just get in here, get it in your hands to where you've got control of it and get it in there and turn it. And once you start turning it, it'll eventually get to a point where it loosens up. You can grab it by your hands and take it out. Now, as you notice, we've cleaned all the pipe dope off here. We've cleaned all the putty off here. So this one here is not made to be watertight right now, but I'm gonna show you at the end how we do this to install it to make sure you don't have any leaks under your slab or under your floor. So what I did is actually just stick this in and line it up right there on the cross. That way I could turn it and I can keep moving this thing around to get it in a position where it works, okay? Now for putting this back in, we're gonna do it the same way, except of course we're gonna go the other direction. Now, like I said, I'm not gonna put putty and pipe dope on right now, but if you wanna make sure yours doesn't leak, you definitely want to. Now to put this back together, sometimes also look at the drain and make sure that the shoe is kind of centered up in the hole. Now, this is a trainer, it's not tight back there. There's nothing holding it down. So I just kind of try to get it lined up so I can get it in, get my threads started. I know everything's going together straight. I don't mess anything up. I'm gonna turn it as much as I can by hand. And then I'm gonna take the fork again, put it in the right positions on the cross, and we've got it all put back together. The next one is the dumbbell. The dumbbell, you've got a large and a smaller size. Now, I always try to start with the smaller just to see if it'll fit, and this one does. Now, on this one, the large one does too, so I could go either way with it. Now, if it's in here too tight, as you see, you've got holes where you can use to stick a screwdriver, a bar for maybe your stem wrenches, anything like that, where you can get something in to get leverage on it. It's also got a hectagon here, so I could put a crescent wrench on it if I need to. So right now, I'm just gonna stick it in. And actually the little one wobbles a little too much for me, so I'm gonna go to the bigger end. As you see, I'm putting it in where it locks up. And I'm gonna need the leverage, so I've got the screwdriver now. In that hole, use it for leverage. There we go. And now, it's loose enough that I can turn it by hand. Comes out pretty easy. Now, as I showed you, the big end in or the little end in. The good thing is too, normally this does not scar up the surface any. So if you think you're gonna take this out and reuse it, this could be a very good tool to use. Guaranteed not to leak, seep, rip, drip, bust, rust, or run out the side. Now this time I'm using the extractor. Now you wanna be careful here. This is normally when you're not gonna reuse the drain. So you get it down in position. So I take the extractor, take it in there, and I normally just take my wrench or something, maybe a hammer, and just kind of tap it down in there. I don't want to hit it super hard, but I want it in there hard enough that it's going to grab a hold of it. And as you see, it doesn't always grab. So I'm gonna bust it up a little bit. See, it didn't grab much at all. Now, I like this instead of a hammer because I'm just wanting to tap it down in there to try to get the teeth to bite. I really don't want to take a big hammer and pound on it, but there are times that I've had to do that. Now, one thing on both the extractor and the expander, you really don't want to use those to put these back in. At that point, you want to go back to the fork or the dumbbell. But remember that, the extractor and the expander, really, you don't use as an install. These are to help you get out the really tough ones. All right, so now the expander. This is one of my favorites. What I like about it is it's actually going down inside of the drain, and when you turn it, as you see, it opens up. So what this does, that makes these teeth grab it from the inside and really get a good rotation on it, get a hold of it so you can actually turn it and pull it out. Now, sometimes you get it in and it'll turn where it doesn't want to grab. You may have to pull it apart. You may have to take a screwdriver in there, anything at all. You may need to get something in here to wedge it. This normally will take out just about any drain that you have. But remember, I've still got one more big one coming that you're gonna wanna see. So what you wanna do, you wanna make sure you get it down into position, push it out to get it to lock out, and then when you turn it, as it turns, it tries to push out, so it's gonna keep tightening up on it. Once you get it loose, we're in position to go ahead and twist it on out. After you dress it up, after you get it ready, you've got your Teflon tape, your pipe dope, your putty, whatever you want on there. Now you're gonna go back to your dumbbell and tighten it up. The dumbbell kind of helps me grip all the way around, and I take less of a chance of breaking that center cross. Okay, so now you get one that you've tried everything. It will not come out. You've tried the extractor, you've tried the expander, you've broken the cross in the middle with your forks or your dumbbell. Now you need the big dog. That's right. You need the Sawzall. Now, what you can do is actually cut some sections out of the drain without cutting all the way into the plastic teeth on the shoe. That way, when you use Teflon tape, pipe dope, put it all back together, you don't have a leak. So let's jump in here and cut this thing out. So I'm using a little extra Teflon tape because I know that I scored the threads. Anytime I cut one out, I do. But what I'm gonna do now is get my putty ready. And this is how you put one of these together where they don't leak. Teflon tape it, pipe dope it, get your threads all lubricated. Put a nice layer or bead of putty around that top edge like that. Now that will get down in here and fill any of the cracks around maybe where the tub is rusted out or anything like that. This to me is just an added layer of security. I just like a little bit of Teflon pipe dope on there. It does two things. It lubricates the threads to help them go in, and it's gonna help seal it off to keep it from leaking. Now once you get it tightened up, you wanna get up your extra putty, maybe take your screwdriver, go around it, get it all together to get the extra out of there. Now it all looks good and it's ready to go. Put your lift and turn or your press stopper in here. This one here is easy to do. So guys, as you see, changing out a tub drain really isn't that bad. Normally, one of the first 4 tools will get it. But if you have to use the Sawzall, be very careful, protect the tub. Try not to get it in a position where it can jump out on you. Anyway, I'm Roger Wakefield, Lead AP, the Expert Plumber. I'll see you in the next video if you don't get flushed.